We're bombarded by it everywhere we look, telling us that we need the latest gadget, that new dress or latest hair product, or our life just won't be good enough. Yes, we're going to be talking tonight about the power of media and advertising and how we are persuaded by clever adverts to buy things that will supposedly make us happier, but in fact do no such thing. Are you someone that gets sucked into the marketing, or can you resist the temptation? My guests tonight are Justin Basini, founder of I Allow and Conservation Economy, and Julie Court, founder of My Body Beautiful. Later on the show, we'll also be featuring a Ladies at Lunch in Brighton with a chance for you to win a free meal for two, and I'll be advising a viewer who finds herself in a tricky situation and would like to know what I would do in her shoes. Now, if you want to get in touch to share your views, do email me on chris@chrissybshow.tv, or you can leave your comment on my Facebook page, The Chrissy B Show. Don't forget to like the page first. Now, to give us his insight into the power of media and advertising, we have Justin Basini. Good evening, Justin.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure.
Because already he's been telling me a few things and tricks about, advertising. It's really fascinating. So now we're going to share it with our viewers.
Brilliant.
So tell us, first of all, what you do.
So I run a company that helps people to opt out of marketing. So I've spent my whole career in marketing for the last 20 years, practicing the trade of how to get people to buy things. And now I help people not to.
That's quite a turnaround. What happened?
It is a bit. Well, I had kids, and I started to look at the impact of, what I was doing on the world. And I used to send a lot of junk mail and direct marketing and things like that. And I didn't feel so good about sending 200 million pieces of direct mail into landfill every year.
You had a conscience. That's really good.
I had a conscience, and I came out and I thought, well, I'll do something about it, and I'll try and put people back in control of the advertising and the marketing that they see.
So effectively, you've got all the inside information, really.
I have, yes. I've got all the tricks of the trade.
Right. Okay, so tell us about some of the tricks then that, the advert things that they do in adverts that persuades us to buy things we don't really need.
Sure. Well, there's the first thing to say is advertising is everywhere now, wherever you go, and there's £16 billion spent on advertising in the UK, targeting us all the time. And marketers are increasingly sophisticated at being able to get us, and they play psychological tricks. So millions and millions is spent on researching how to make ads make us buy. So, for example, virtually every advert uses a psychological trick. So, for example, putting a doctor or a dentist on an advert, that increases its effectiveness at getting us to buy, because what we do is we say, I'm going to trust that person more than making my own decision. Advertising is really about trying to get people to switch off the rational side of their brain and engage the emotional side of their brain.
So they're not thinking anymore.
They're not thinking anymore. That's exactly
being led
right.
by the heart, really, in a sense.
That's right. I want it. And, advertisers spend a lot of time trying to get you to spend more and more money on products. And they do that by trying to, go what's called the psychological hierarchy. And so at the bottom of this hierarchy, you have things like, it gets my clothes cleaner. And at the top, you have, by buying this product, it makes me a better mother. Buying this washing powder makes me, suddenly going to be a better parent because I've bought this. And of course, it's 20% more expensive than it was last year. And so it's playing on all these emotional cues to get us to buy all the time.
But it's really hard to kind of resist that, though, isn't it? Because we do want to be better. We do want to do better in life. So where can we draw the line? How do we know when we are actually being deceived in a way?
Well, it's not really deceit. It's using psychological games, if you like, to get ideas to go into our mind. And my view is that, what you should do is you should just spend some time before you make any sort of decision. Of course, marketers play on the fact that we're all time poor and we need to make really quick decisions all the time. But actually what you can do, especially if you're going to make a big purchase, is you can just take a little bit of time. Don't get sucked in by the marketing and think about what you're doing and think about whether actually you need that next thing to make you happier, because it doesn't make us happier. If you look at all the research, we've got more phones, more computers, we've got more cars, we've got more stuff, and yet we're all unhappy. We're less happy than we were in the past. And I think that's a lot to do with the fact that our economy sees us as not people, but as consumers. You have to consume. Your role in life is to go out, earn money.
But doesn't it generate growth,
spend.
though, at the same time?
It does. It does generate growth. So it's not a terrible thing, But what's happening is that I think people are starting to question, and they're starting to look for different values. So it's not about the latest thing. I think people are starting, it's very small at the moment, but people are starting to, you know, think a little bit more carefully, especially with environmental concerns and, you know, all the things of, you know, do you need that TV? And the fact that people are earning less now, you know, incomes are going down because of the recession. And what I hope is that that's starting to give people an opportunity, if you like, to sort of take a breath and go, actually, maybe I won't buy that TV. Maybe I won't buy that iPhone 5. I'll leave it for another 6 months.
And where's that directed to? No, because the thing is, with like the iPhone, and lots of people, I've got a BlackBerry. I've never had an iPhone.
Yeah.
I've got an iPad though. And like, mostly friends will say, how come you've got a BlackBerry, you don't have an iPhone? You need an iPhone, it's much better. But I was never, I'm quite stubborn in a good sense in that I try not to get sucked in because everyone else has got something that I want as well. But then recently, it's like I'm getting quite tempted.
Yeah.
And I know I don't really need it, but because everyone's saying, you know, it's a really good thing, I'm actually considering it. But after today, I'm not going to buy one. I'm going to, you know, put my foot down and not buy it.
Yeah. Well, that's
for now anyway.
Well, that's the thing. And actually, it's not about stopping buying everything, because we need to buy things and we need to have an economy that's growing. It's about actually making better decisions and actually understanding and doing a little bit more research and starting to sort of think a little bit more about the messages that surround us all the time, because all of us exist in an environment where we're surrounded by all these messages getting us to buy all the time. You know, all the TV that we watch, all the magazines that we see, all these messages coming through all the time. Buy, 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 buy. And actually, instead of buying everything every time a new thing is out there, actually getting people to sort of think a little bit more and say, okay, well, maybe I'm going to make a different choice this time. And yeah, don't buy the iPhone 5, buy the iPhone 6, because there will be one coming out next year, right? You always know that there's new things coming out. So, yeah, and trying to say, well, I'm not really missing out. You know, your BlackBerry probably does quite a good job for you.
Yeah, it does its job, yeah.
You
Even
know,
with that, I didn't really want to buy it, but
right.
someone managed to persuade me, look, you need to have emails coming through on your phone. Now I'm doing twice as much work because of the phone.
That's right. And you're probably, you know, that's the trouble, isn't it? You know, all these things, you know, we spend less time with our family, we spend more time watching TV, our kids are always watching more and more TV, and they're being programmed to respond, if you like, to all these consumption messages that we are consumers and we have to consume. And actually, I think people are starting to realise that actually there is a different way and we can have more balance in our lives. And hopefully if we have more balance, what we can do is we can, you know, be happier about where we are and what we're doing. An iPhone 5 is not going to make you happy. It might make you happy for half an hour whilst you play with it, but in three months' time, you'll be just as frustrated with its inefficiencies as you are with the BlackBerry, right? And so actually realising that and trying to resist it and keeping £600 in your pocket rather than giving it to Apple, right?
So you can go for a nice holiday with your family or a nice weekend with your family and spend time with them.
And spend time with your kids, and actually, you know, not having the iPhone means that maybe, you know, you won't get emails at 3 o'clock in the morning, and you can actually, you know, live a different life, right? We're all surrounded all the time. Yeah. And that's the thing, you know, these gadgets are all there most of the time. They're used by marketers to just send us more messages to buy, you know, spam texts and advertising. And advertising is tracking us all the time. Wherever we go on the internet, advertisers know what we are doing. Adverts follow us around on the internet now.
It sounds pretty scary because the extent is
well, it's a lot.
Huge.
I mean, a huge amount of information is collected on all of us all the time just by having an iPad or a mobile phone or you know, using the internet. And it's all used to target advertising more effectively. So people often know about, you know, you'll look at a pair of shoes on one site, and then suddenly the shoes will follow you around the internet, right, being targeted. And that's because they know your computer has looked at that ad or looked at that product, and it's following you all the way around the internet. And actually, you know, the reason they do that is because it works. It gets you to buy that thing because you're constantly reminded, oh, you want that new pair of shoes, you want that new pair of shoes, here it is, here it is, here it is, buy it, buy it, buy it. And actually, I think there are things you can do to start to just take a break from that. Yeah. You know, take a break and just take a step back and maybe, you know, not worry so much about having the latest things and look for other things that are going to make you happy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for obviously people doing well in life and having the best thing, you know, that there is to offer. But if that comes at the expense of time with your family or enjoying other things as well,
yeah,
that's what I have a problem with.
That's
which
right.
Is what, you know,
that's right, and that's what they want. You know, marketers generally they want you to want this stuff. You know, they want to present an image where you are a better person if you have an iPhone. Or you look at somebody, you know, across the road and they've got a new car and they've got a BMW or whatever, and they're a better person than you. Well, are they? Are they really? You know, and actually asking those sort of questions, I think helps you just to sort of take a step back and think about things a little bit more and make different choices. You still may choose to buy the BMW. Good for you, right? But at least you've thought about it, and at least the marketer isn't sucking you in to actually purchasing it.
Right. Now, Justin, are you allowed to tell us about some of the adverts or companies that give us a few examples of things to watch out for?
Well, there's lots of, for example, comparative advertising. So all the ads that we know of sort of, this product does this product does that. Companies spend millions and millions and millions on researching these claims, makes your hair 80% stronger, things like that.
Okay.
And it's all you're
bringing up a lot of things that I've been considering.
Yeah. And it's all stuff that basically is millions of pounds are spent on creating these claims, because if they go into advertising, they will increase your penetration into the market. More people will buy these sort of products. But actually, all the claims are very, very spurious. They have loads and loads of scientists working on these claims to try and find these little points of difference. The reality is...
It's really tiny sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's hardly worth mentioning, but they make a big hoo-ha
They make a big hoo-ha. And the reality is that, most of the products that we have available now are brilliant. If you compare them to like 20, 30 years ago, soaps and shampoos and shower gels and all this sort of stuff, they're fantastic products, right? They all work more or less the same, right? So what marketers want to do is they want to say, oh no, this one's going to make you more beautiful. It's going to make you a better person. It's going to make you more attractive. It's going to allow you to get that hot date or whatever. And if you buy that, you're going to give me 25% more than my competitor. And so it's this constant game to try and get you more and more money out of your pocket.
This honestly is such an eye-opener
as
well.
So another example is, toy stores. You remember a few years ago there was a big spate of toy stores running out of the hot product before Christmas. So Buzz Lightyear or whatever. Suddenly nobody can get Buzz Lightyears, right?
You have people fighting.
Right, and they do that on purpose, because what they know is you've probably made a promise to your child, oh yeah, I'll get you a Buzz Lightyear, and then suddenly you can't get it, okay? So you apologise to your child and you say, well, we'll try and get it some other time.
They have a tantrum.
That's right, they have a tantrum. You've got to go to the toy store to buy them some sort of gift. So you're in the toy store before Christmas, you buy them a gift, it's not Buzz Lightyear. Then January comes around, all the advertising for Buzz Lightyear comes in, what are you going to do? Johnny's going to say, I want that Buzz Lightyear. You're back in the store in January and you're buying Buzz Lightyear. Suddenly you've bought 2 gifts, not 1.
So crafty.
Yeah.
It really is crafty.
All about trying to just drive profit all the time and sell more and more stuff.
And we fall for it.
And actually what we can do is that there are lots of ways now that you can start to stop some of that stuff. So the tracking on the internet, there are things that you can download that allow you to stop all that tracking from happening and stop people from the advertisers from tracking you around the internet. There's things that you can do.
Is that what your company teaches?
Yeah, that's what my company does. So we've got a range of products that basically stop people to marketing to you. So we allow you to opt out of all these marketing lists, for example. So we issue all these. We issue what are called Section 11 requests, which tell all these marketers not to market to you, and they have to, by law, stop marketing to you. So you can start.
So you would think that you wouldn't be able to control that. So I didn't even know you could.
But you can.
Actually put a stop to it.
So you can stop junk mail. You can stop things like that. You can stop the telephone calls, the spam texts. You can stop ads following you around the internet. And what I hope is
demand for that quite high then, for people stopping all this, or?
Yeah, increasingly, because I think people want a little break. There's a lot of pressure You know,
it's not just TV, is it? It's like posters. We're surrounded by everywhere.
Everywhere you go. And so, you know, you feel under pressure all the time to have that latest thing, to buy that latest thing. And I think people are starting to say, no, I just want a breather. I just want to take a little bit of time and I'll make the decisions that I want.
Yeah.
I won't be influenced by, or I'll be influenced less by all this sort of marketing trickery and all these psychological tricks that make me buy things.
Justin, it's really been great talking to you, because I know, well, I certainly will be more careful about what I buy in the future. I'm not going to get sucked in. I think we might maybe a little bit, but I'm going to be a bit wiser this time as well. And I'm sure the viewers will be as well. But if you do want more information, Justin's details will be up on the Chrissy B website, which is chrissybshow.tv. So thanks so much for all your wisdom.
A pleasure.
Words of wisdom.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so after the break, we're going to be joined by Julie Court from My Body Beautiful, and we'll be showing you some photos of famous celebs before and after airbrushing. And don't forget that you'll also have a chance to win a fabulous meal for two, so stay tuned. Welcome back to the Chrissy B Show. We are speaking about the power and influence of adverts and the media in general. So if you want to give your comment as well about this, you can email me on chris@chrissybshow.tv, and our lovely email reader, Amelia, will be reading some emails out later on. Now, for our next guest, we have Julie Court, founder of My Body Beautiful. Good evening, Julie. Thanks so much for joining us.
Good evening.
So tell us, what is My Body Beautiful?
And My Body Beautiful is an idea I had about 10 years ago. You know, as women, we go out and we sit down and we talked. And I realised that most of the conversations I had with my friends and also with colleagues was about their body, bits that they were unhappy with, bits that they wanted to change. So that gave me the idea of My Body Beautiful. And originally, 10 years ago, I created the site basically as a support, like a support network.
Right.
And I did research and put information up. And then I started getting general public emailing in, asking questions, tell me about their own body image issues. And then I got really involved and started researching it more, and it developed from there.
Because it's true, because women do complain, don't they?
Yes.
Nothing's ever good enough.
That's right.
So if you've got straight hair, you want curly hair. If your hair's curly, you want straight hair. You don't like certain bits of your body, when, you know, everyone looks perfectly fine, really, if we look after ourselves in the right way.
We're all diverse, we're all different.
Yeah.
There isn't a one stereotype, there isn't a one beauty.
Okay, so what do you think about the way the media is like portraying body image?
Okay, first of all, I say that body image is actually your view of what you look like.
Right.
Okay? It's how you see yourself, what you think about yourself, and how you experience your body. Okay? And anybody of any size and shape can have a positive or negative body image. So it's not just, so someone who's attractive to all around them can actually feel negative about themselves and be dissatisfied with the way that they look.
Even though like someone else might look at them and think, wow, you're gorgeous.
That's right. That's right.
It's really...
It's a mental concept. It's how you perceive your own looks.
And is body image changing, do you think?
Yes. I mean, studies show in the past 40 years, there's been an awful lot of study, and body image is changing, and it's actually changing for the worse, not for the better.
Really?
That's correct. For example, in 2000 and 2001, Top Santader magazine interviewed 8,000 people, 5,000 in the first survey and 3,000 in the second survey. In the first survey, 83% of people said they were unhappy with their bodies, and they believed that they could be happy and live better lives if it changed. A year later, that figure had gone up to 89%.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And last year, Glamour magazine did a survey, and asked women to describe or write down or take note of every time they had a negative thoughts about their own body. 97% of people came back and said every single day they had at least one negative
97%.
thought. Yeah. And one woman said that she looks at herself and she thinks you're a worthless fat pig. That's how she describes herself. And it's not just women. Last year, the health unit did a survey of 80,000 students across the country from year 6 to year 10. And just taking year 10, for example, 38% of the girls said they didn't like themselves and wanted to change, and 31% of boys as well.
Oh, so that's
31%.
the same as well.
So boys want to eat. That's correct. The NHS has come out and said that there's an increase in the number of people actually being treated for eating disorders. And it's not just girls. The latest increase is actually young boys. And then, of course, we see the rise in cosmetic surgery.
Yes.
Yeah. More Magazine did a survey. 70% of the respondents says, yes, they would have cosmetic surgery if they could. And the figures speak for themselves. In 2008, it was 34,200. Last year, the figure had risen to 43,000. So as you can see, evidence suggests that body image is changing and not for the better, sadly.
That's terrible. And I know, like, for example, sometimes youngsters especially, they do try and look like celebs. They
do.
See someone on TV, or in a photograph mainly, for example, and they say, oh, I need to look like this person. But a lot of them are airbrushed. It's not real. What they're seeing is not actually real. And we've got a few examples here just to show you all. Let's take a look at this first one. Okay, Britney Spears, before and after airbrushing.
Yes, that's one of the pictures that the government came out with in their campaign. And if you have a look closely, you can see that her thighs and her legs in particular have been slimmed down. And if you can look closely, you can see that all the blemishes and moles have been taken away, as well as her arms have
Even
been
her
thinned down
stomach as well.
Yes.
Because see a little bit of a belly, which is not unattractive.
No, she
it's
wasn't
normal to have
unattractive
a
in
bit
the
of a
first place.
stomach, isn't
Yes.
it?
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a look at another one as well. Now this, what a tan, right?
Yes.
Now I think it's for me, that's really promoting something quite dangerous, because for you to get that brown, if you're that colour there on the right hand side, to get that brown, you'd have to spend a lot of hours under the sun, unless you're going to use...
And skin cancer is on the rise.
Yeah.
Yes, that's an issue.
Unless you're going to use, you know, some kind of fake tan, but that doesn't even look like a fake tan, does it?
No,
it looks like a
doesn't
really
at all.
nice, beautiful tan.
Yeah.
But people aren't sort of happy with, again, even that we've got like darker skinned people trying to lighten there. By the way, we actually have an advert. I saw this advert and I thought it was ridiculous. It's actually an advert from India, and it's showing. Well, we'll show it to you in just a second. But it's basically saying that women and people in a marriage will be happier if women do this thing. Take a look at this.
Now in India, clean and dry intimate wash गुप्तन की त्वचा को रखे clean, सुरक्षित और रंगत निखारे.
ना 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 जाना ना है ताज़गी यहाँ.
Clean and dry intimate wash, freshness जो निखारे.
So what the advert's basically saying, if the women have whiter intimate parts, then their marriage will be better, then their husband will be happier with them, which is it's such a ridiculous message. And again, people don't seem to be happy with how they look, so they're trying to, and the adverts are playing on that.
No, as I said at the first half of the show, when the advertisers advertise, they package it up. They don't. They say, if you buy our product, you will become beautiful. But you won't only become beautiful; you'll be successful, and you don't only be successful, but you have a great partner and you live a great and happy life. Yeah. So they package it all up and offer something for us to all aspire to. It's actually called aspirational selling.
Okay, we've got another photograph as well to show you as well. Someone very well known, Beyonce. Now, what's going on there?
This is a L'Oreal ad, and there was actually a complaint about this ad because Beyonce's
I'm not surprised.
Face had been lightened and her hair had been lightened, and she'd been made more European to fit the European archetype of beauty.
Yeah, so the hair obviously is not real.
No, she'd just been westernized.
Yeah, so again, it's like for kids watching that and someone that really loves Beyonce and loves, you know, if they're not looking like the picture on the right, they're going to think there's something wrong with them.
That's correct.
And then we've got kids sort of going and bleaching and doing all sorts of things because they're just not happy anymore.
Yeah, they say that's how to be successful. So you have to be beautiful and you have to be light-skinned and you have to have straight hair.
It's terrible. Okay, let's go to a couple of emails as well from Amelia.
We have a viewer here. She comments, and she also asks you, Julie. I'm a shopaholic and I mostly buy designer labels. As soon as they're advertised, they look so good on the models that I buy them for myself in the hope to boost up my confidence. Is that bad?
Designer labels. Well, I think if someone is buying, well, it's falling for advertising again, isn't it? So I really don't think there's anything wrong with people buying designer stuff if they can afford it, but if their happiness depends on it.
Exactly.
Exactly. That's where the problem is.
That's correct. If you can afford it and it makes you feel happy, that's fine. However, as long as you're aware of why you're buying it and you're not just playing up to the advertisers.
That's right. So if you've got another email as well, if you want to send us any questions, do email me, chris@chrissybshow.tv. Now tell us about the work that you do in schools, Julie, as well, to help educate children.
Okay, we go into schools and we talk to the children about body image. And the reason why we go into school, we try to educate them and equip them with knowledge so that they can make better choices for themselves. So we talk to them about the media, we talk to them about airbrushing, we talk to them about beauty, we talk to them about the wonderful diversity that is the human being, and how we don't all come in one shape and one size, and that the media is portraying an archetype of beauty, an archetype of handsome for males, with the sole purpose of selling products and services.
How do they normally react and respond to the training that you give? Are they quite receptive?
Very receptive. It causes normally there'll be an awful lot of discussion. Sometimes there's even outrage.
Really?
They can't believe they've fallen for it. And then they go, oh, I understand now. And they become a lot happier. We've had people sit in our workshops, and at the beginning of the workshops they're very upset, they're sad. I've had children cry in a workshop at the very beginning, or hide their face. And as we talk about self-acceptance, we talk about diversity, as we talk about the fact that you don't have to be skinny to be successful, you don't have to be tall to be and broad and butch to be a successful male in this world, you can be anything you want. Then they come out of their shelves and they're a lot happier for the knowledge.
What ages do you actually teach?
12 to 16.
12 to 16. Is that, would you say that's the sort of most vulnerable age then?
Well, there are younger children who are also vulnerable. My own daughter, she's 10, and for the past 2 years, all she's done is talk about her body.
Really?
Yes.
Gosh.
Yes, and she compares herself to not only what she sees in the media, but she compares herself to her friends as well.
Parents, I think, have got such a hard job nowadays.
It's extremely difficult. But what parents have to do is what I try to do, is if my daughter's, just say she's eating unhealthily, I will focus on the health and the fitness aspect of what she's eating. Yeah. And I won't say, focus on your appearance. I won't say you'll get fat and implying that she'll be unattractive. I say, that is unhealthy. You have to eat a balanced meal. That's fine. That's in moderation.
It,
yeah. And it's about health. It's not all about appearance. Appearance is not everything.
Okay, that's true.
Yeah.
All right, let's take another. If we've got any comments, Amelia, as well, from anyone.
Yes, we do. And just reading this comment, it actually reminded me of how I felt when I was younger. She says, I love a certain celebrity whose body is perfect. She's become my role model throughout these years. I still haven't reached my body shape, just like hers. And I'm determined that by the end of the year, I will have the same body shape as hers. Many of my friends think I'm obsessed, but I don't see as anything wrong.
Amelia, tell us about what you used to think about yourself. I'm interested now, you should have said it.
I personally think, I mean, at the end, it's the same age, I was 10 years old, and I thought I was fat. You know, I had this obsession with celebrities, Beyonce. When I saw Beyonce, I thought, yeah, I always used to think that she had the perfect body. So from the age of 10, going up to my teens, I had this eating disorder. I couldn't eat any food because I thought I would put on weight. But this was all because of the media. Everything I would see, I would think it was real. I thought, you know, that lady's body is amazing. And I was still young, I was developing, I was still chubby at the time. I became so obsessed with my weight, I wasn't able to eat solid food. There was a year in my life where all my foods were liquidized. And that was very stressful for my family. They couldn't cope with my eating disorder because it just brought serious problems to me. But why? Because I thought that the media, what I was seeing in the media was right. Well, that was it. It was the real thing. Obviously, I got over it. No, I did lose.
And you're gorgeous just the way you are, my darling.
You.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know this about her. I've just since she said it, I thought let me just ask her about it because that's so serious. Yeah. It's really.
One thing I will say about the media, the media tends to have two main messages, and it's this: here is the ideal, and it's if you buy our product or service, then you can achieve this ideal, and whether that be a six-pack stomach, perfect blemish-free skin, whatever. Or there's the flaws, where they say, if you buy our service or product, you can eradicate or reduce that flaw in yourself. In both those instances, it is you too can look like this. That's what they're saying, and they show you an image. But the truth is that most people can't. In fact, no one can really, because the image that they're showing us is unreal and unattainable. And the reason why I say it's unreal and unattainable, because we've just seen the airbrushing photos, okay, where they airbrush in the ideal and they airbrush out. For example, they might thin down Britney Spears' thighs. They airbrush out the flaws. Okay, so that there's airbrushing, and that happens in practically 100% of magazines. Secondly, they tend to use models that are underweight or very thin naturally, but most of them are underweight, at a time when the British population of females is actually getting bigger in size. Also, they tend to use young models who haven't had children. They've got perfect skin, slim bodies, and that negatively affects older women. And also they tend to use models or celebrities that have actually undergone cosmetic surgeries or procedures themselves.
Nothing's real, is it?
That's correct.
It's just ridiculous.
So back to that email that girl was talking about, she wants to look like that celebrity. That celebrity looks like a normal person. But when she's depicted in the media, she's suddenly not a normal person. She's a person that has been changed in a way that is unattainable.
So, you know, the message you want to get really across tonight is like, don't fall for what you see on TV.
The message that I'd like to leave tonight is that in the media, they over-represent an ideal that is not real, okay? And this is perpetuated throughout society, okay? Now, you've got to remember that health and beauty is big business. In England last year, in Britain last year, the health and beauty industry was worth £18.5 billion. That is a lot of money. We live in a consumer society where we are told to buy, and we are promised everything, including happiness at the end of it. But the actual natural human body, in all its beauty and all its diversity, is undervalued. And they're saying, if you want value, if you want to be of worth, you need to alter your body, make it thinner, make your breasts bigger, make your skin lighter, make your hair straighter, and then you'll be of value and you'll be acceptable. And it's not true.
It's not true.
And what happens, body image and body dissatisfaction occurs when the ideal that you want to be, whether it's a real person that you've seen that you admire or a media image, is different from what you actually are. And the bigger the difference, the greater the degree of dissatisfaction.
So do you know what, viewers, those of you that are watching, you are beautiful just the way you are, and do not fall for what you see around you, because it's not real. Obviously, we promote like for people to be healthy and do the best with what they have, but other than that, don't fall for it. Thank you so much, Julian. I love what you're doing. Really great, really positive. Okay, so we're going to go to a quick break, and then afterwards we've got more goodies for you, so join us then. Welcome back to the Chrissy B Show. Okay, slight technical hitch there. Okay, so just before we go to our people inside can't wait to play this video, but before they play, I just want to say a few things about what we've spoken about already. Now, first of all, after everything that we've witnessed from our guests tonight, please don't get sucked in by what you see, because it's all there to get you to spend more money, and it just makes you more miserable. Now, I'm all for looking nice, looking beautiful, being the best that you can be, but don't try to look like someone else, because at the end of the day, you're individual, you're you have your own beauty, you have your own great things about you. So, you know, look after your health by all means. If you put on a bit of weight, go on a diet if you need to, do a bit of exercise, lose any excess weight that you have, and do the best with what you have, and don't sort of compare yourself, because as long as we're comparing ourselves to other people, we will be miserable. And invest in things that, you know, really matter as well. I'm not saying your looks don't matter, your looks do matter. Invest in yourself, but also invest in your family, in your friends, you know, helping people around you, because to be honest, when you're looking out for other people, I think that's something that really makes a person happy, so you're not so self-absorbed and everything. So now it's time to feature our ladies at lunch, and we went to a fabulous place called Foodilic in Brighton, and actually you're going to have a chance to win a free meal for two by answering this question. So I'm going to ask you this question, you're going to watch the video and see if you can find the answer. It's really easy anyway. So before we watch, what is the owner's name of this restaurant? Let's take a look at this.
Here we are outside Foodillic in Brighton, and I'm with Peter Illick, who is the owner of this. You might recognise him from Little Bay, Brighton, Farringdon and Kilburn. So hello Peter.
Hello, nice to see you again.
Nice to see you. Thanks for having us again.
Welcome to this a little bit different than Little Bay restaurants. This is cafe, as you can see behind us. It's totally different. We do for vegans, vegetarians, we do for meat eaters as well. So it's for everybody.
Hey guys, this is our drink menu.
It's lovely. So why should people come here?
Well, as I said again, the great value, the different tastes you can get, great service in the first place, and then I think this is not just a quick lunch. This is experience. I think this is something that you should visit and something you should remember from Brighton.
And if people want more information, what should they do?
They should definitely contact our website, which is foodillic.com. And or call the number that you find on the website.
Do you know what? We've just had the most lovely meal, and it's one of those things that you have that you can eat lots of it and not feel guilty because everything is healthy, everything is fresh, and it's just amazing food. Barbara, what do you think?
Really good. I'm feeling really full because I don't feel bad because it was good food, but I probably ate a little bit too much, but it was really good. And loads of vegetables, but meat as well, both good.
Okay, the food was really amazing. Now, did you get the answer right? What is the owner's name of the Foodillic restaurant? Now, for your chance to win a free meal for two, you can email your answers to chris@chrissybshow.tv and we'll draw out a winner from the correct answers, and the terms and conditions and everything are on the website chrissybshow.tv. All the details are there. So now it's time for our What Would Chrissy Do section. Now this part of the show is where perhaps you're going through some kind of situation that you're not quite sure what to do and you need like maybe a friend to advise you. So I'll be reading your emails and listening to what you have to say, and then I'll tell you what I would do in your situation. And we have one here, an email this time, from someone, and she's in a bit of a dilemma because she's having problems with her boyfriend. We don't have her full name, I'm afraid. I'm just going to refer to her as A. So A says, I've been with my boyfriend for 3 years and our relationship has always been a bit up and down, even though we love each other very much. I worry about him because when we met, he used to smoke drugs socially, but I hate things like that, so he stopped once we got serious. Lately, he's been out a few times with his friends, and I was so worried that he would get into the drug scene again and take harder drugs this time. I challenged him about it, and he said he hasn't been taking drugs and that I'm obsessive and don't trust him. After a massive argument, he broke up with me and said he doesn't want to see me again, and that he can't stand the obsessive side of me. He means the world to me and I'm devastated. He's staying with his parents so I can't visit him, and I've turned up at his workplace a couple of times to try to talk to him, but he refuses to see me. I've lost count of how many times I've called him and left messages, but he's completely ignoring me. I'm so miserable without him. Why won't he speak to me? So A, I can understand how you feel. You know, you've been with this guy for 3 years, and now all of a sudden it's like he doesn't want to know you. He's not returning your calls. I can understand that you're upset. But first of all, let's see why he's so upset in the first place. Now, you know, you accused him of taking drugs. Now, first of all, did you have any evidence about that? Did you have any proof that he was taking drugs? So if you haven't had, and if you didn't smell anything on him, or you didn't see any signs or anything like that, and you just basically accused him, you can understand why he's upset, because you're supposed to be, you know, the love of his life, and like you don't trust him. Okay, he's been out with friends a couple of times. It doesn't mean that he's doing drugs. If he hasn't done it all this time, why would he start now? So that's the first thing as well. But also, I know you really want to talk to him, but if you're turning up at his workplace, calling him constantly, you know, sending him text messages, it's like you're basically confirming to him that you are obsessive, and that's something that he obviously doesn't like about you. It's too heavy. A woman that's too needy is a real put off for a man. So what I would advise, first of all, I would advise you to, or what I would do in your situation, first of all, is to send one email, one message to say, look, I'm really sorry that I accused you of this, this and that. And after that, I wouldn't contact him again. Just leave it. No turning up at his workplace like, you know, an obsessed person. No calling him, no texting him, all of that stuff. Stop doing that. Because you have to start valuing yourself as well. And he has to see, look, she's backed off, she's not obsessive anymore. Give him space. He needs space to think, he needs space to get himself together. But if you're there constantly in his face all the time, he's not gonna like that. And also, because I've noted a few things down here as well, you need to have a life of your own. Now, you say in your email that he means the world to you and you're devastated. Okay, but why are you taking it so badly? It's because you've made him your world. It's like there's nothing else in your life apart from him. And that is a really dangerous position to be in. And it puts a lot of pressure on the person, because if like you're putting all your hopes and all your dreams on another individual, any little thing that person does, you're going to get really upset. So he shouldn't be, no other human being, no partner should be everything to you. You need to have your own life as well. You need to have your own goals. I'm not saying, you know, you're not going to love your partner, you're not going to be there for them, you're not going to spend time together. But if they are your be-all and end-all, and you don't have your own life, there will always be problems. So I know you've probably heard this expression, get a life. You need to get your own life as well. So, you know, invest in yourself. You can do courses, you can invest in hobbies, you can see more of your family. You can look after yourself better. So don't just let it be about all my life is to do with my boyfriend. You need to have your own goals, your own aspirations as well. So I think you should start that immediately. I really think you should do that now. And probably when he sees you, you know, getting on with your life, you stopped contacting him, you're getting on with your life, you're becoming more confident in yourself, that will probably make him think twice and think, well, hang on a minute, there's something going on there. She's a bit different than what she normally is, and she seems to have kind of backed off a bit. And he might actually find you like more attractive in that sense as well. So these things that I'm sort of suggesting to you to do are going to take so much willpower, because your natural instinct is going to be to like, oh, I've got to see him now. I need to talk to him. I can't sleep without him. I can't do anything. I can't think. I can't eat. That's going to be your sort of feelings, your emotional side. So you've got to really fight that and resist that and get on with your life. Now, there's a chance, and I don't mean to be negative. There's a big chance that he might not want you back. He may do, you know, things if he sees these changes in you and you've stopped calling him and everything like that. He might want to get back with you and give it another go. If he does, please don't repeat the same mistakes again. But if he doesn't, again, don't let your life, you know, fall apart because of that. Move on. And the next time when you do meet someone, and, you know, there will be someone else. If it's not him, there will be someone else. The next time, don't be obsessive, you know, you need to trust your partner. And if you invest in yourself and have your own life as well, the relationship, trust me, is going to go much, much better. So I hope that's helped you. I know it sounds like I've put all the onus on you, and, you know, haven't said anything about him, but the fact is you're the one that's sent through this email. I'm trying to maybe help you with things that you can improve on. And I speak from experience as well, because I used to be very obsessive with my boyfriend. And, you know, it's not a pretty sight. It devalues you as well. So, for example, like the slightest thing that my boyfriend would do, it would be like, oh my gosh, I'm so upset, I'm so depressed. Or if he looked in another girl's direction, I was like, that was the end of the world for me. And so I put a lot of pressure on the relationship. But as soon as I started to be more confident about myself and investing in myself and not allowing him, my boyfriend, to be my world anymore, things completely changed in our relationship, and we actually got married as well, and we're very happily married today. So, you know, I do hope that's helped you, and that's what I would do in your situation. That's not what I did in the past, unfortunately, but looking back now, that's what I would do now if I was going through the same situation as you. So I really do hope that has helped you. And if you have a situation that you're going through, you can also email me on chris@chrissybshow.tv. If you want, we can even film you. I know some people are a bit scared of cameras and they don't like to be in front of a camera and to tell, you know, things about themselves. But if you're brave enough, if it's not something too deep, too personal, and it could be just something like that, something you're going through, you're not sure what to do in a certain situation, we can actually film you, and you can also feature as part of the Chrissy B Show. We are reaching the end of our program, but we are going to be back on Wednesday, and Wednesday's show will be all about depression and knowing the difference between feeling sad and feeling depressed and what you can do about it. And I will also be sharing my own experiences of depression, because I suffered from it for 7 years, but I've been free from it from 15 years and it's never coming back. And I'll be sharing my secrets with you as well. So let's leave you on a funny note with our YouTube funny video, and we'll see you again on Wednesday. If you want more information about the show, you can visit the website chrissybshow.tv. All our past shows are on there. The competitions are up on there. We've got photos up on there. There's lots of lovely things on the website, so do visit when you get a chance. Bye-bye for now.
The lion was considered a very dangerous animal, but today many people see him as a relatively harmless fellow. You see, he's a bit lazy. He spends hours of his day resting. Of course, I don't want to get the wrong impression of him, because you really hear trying to do himself. Because he can be a predator and he can be deadly. Lions have very sharp teeth.
Help one of these intelligent, gorgeous, and ooh.
Wide range of sounds and gestures for communication. Hi, Jody. Oh, God!